earthquake and buildings in the big cities. Besides to human suffering, when it comes to earthquakes, people always refer to buildings. Today's video, we will watch amazing moments of buildings and earthquakes all over the world. Do not forget to press the like button, share and comment what you think about this topic. Thanks, and let's get it on. Turkey is located in an area of high seismic activity, making it particularly vulnerable to earthquakes. When earthquakes strike, the impact on buildings in Turkey is devastating. In general, the buildings in Turkey can be classified into two categories: modern earthquake-resistant buildings and older buildings that were constructed before implementation of earthquake-resistant building codes. The newer buildings are constructed to withstand the seismic forces of earthquakes and typically feature reinforced concrete frames, flexible joints, and other seismic-resistant features. However, many of the older buildings are constructed of masonry or adobe, which are not resistant to earthquakes. When an earthquake occurs, the ground shakes and moves, which can cause a building to sway or deform. The older buildings typically suffer severe damage, with some buildings collapsing entirely. During the 1999 earthquake in Turkey, several high-rise buildings in Istanbul, including the 42-story Marmara Hotel, suffered significant damage due to their height and lack of earthquake-resistant design. The seismic waves caused the buildings to sway back and forth, leading to structural failures and collapse. During the 2015 earthquake in Nepal, several buildings collapsed due to the intensity of the seismic waves, including the 9-story Dharahara Tower in Kathmandu. The tower was a historic landmark and a popular tourist attraction, but it was not designed to withstand earthquakes. The collapse of the tower resulted in the loss of many lives and highlighted the vulnerability of older buildings in Nepal. In addition to the Dharahara Tower, many other older buildings in Nepal collapsed during the earthquake due to the inadequate construction and lack of seismic design. The majority of these buildings were constructed using brick or stone masonry, which are not as resistant to seismic forces as reinforced concrete structures. This is Alto Rio Building in Concepción. The 15-story building was constructed using non-earthquake resistant design, leading to significant structural damage and the ultimate collapse of the building. The 8.8 magnitude earthquake that struck Chile in February 2010 was one of the largest earthquakes that recovered and caused extensive damage to buildings and infrastructure across the country. Many newer buildings that had been constructed to modern earthquake-resistant design standards were able to withstand the seismic forces of the earthquake and remain standing. These buildings featured reinforced concrete frames, flexible joints, and other seismic-resistant features that help to minimize damage and keep occupants safe. However, even some of these modern buildings sustained damage during the earthquake, particularly those that were located close to the epicenter or soft soil. In some cases, the damage sustained by these buildings was due to lateral shaking caused by the earthquake, which can cause buildings to sway and deform. In other cases, the damage was caused by liquefaction, a phenomenon in which the ground beneath a building loses its strength and becomes unstable. Japan is one of the most earthquake-prone countries in the world. Building codes and regulation in Japan require strict adherence to earthquake-resistant design standards, which include the use of materials such as reinforced concrete and steel frames, and the incorporation of seismic isolation technology. Despite these measures, however, earthquakes can still cause significant damage to buildings in Japan. For example, the Great East Japan earthquake of 2011, which had a magnitude of 9.0, caused widespread damage to buildings and infrastructure across the country. Many buildings collapsed, and others were severely damaged, leading to extensive reconstruction efforts.
Whoa!
Look at that there. Oh my god. Look, it's.
Oh,
things are
hey!
falling.
Oh, do you think we should leave?
The majority of buildings collapse occurred in the areas closest to the epicenter of the earthquake, which included the prefecture of Miyagi, Iwate, and Fukushima. One of the most notable types of buildings that collapsed during the earthquake were wooden houses, particularly those that were older and not constructed to modern earthquake-resistant standards. In addition to wooden houses, other types of buildings also collapsed during the earthquake, including schools, hospitals, and apartment buildings.
Thank you for watching the video. Subscribe to our channel to see more about this side of nature. See you in the next video.